Hello, everyone. This is Tammy Fisher within the Doll World, and I'm here today with the most gorgeous Miss Georgette Taylor.
Hey, Terry, how are you?
I'm blessed, Miss Georgette Taylor. And today we're excited to introduce you to Suzanne and Erick Lamba of Lyahs TV.
Hey.
Hello.
Hello. So the reason that we have Suzanne and Erick here are I stumbled upon their channel and I thought it was just amazing to see what they were doing. They have, you see the little dolls there. So they have a little YouTube channel, and it's a family just doing family stuff, but it's really cool. They do lots of educational things, and they're done in ways that are just, it's like the family's having a conversation and this is what happens. And I just thought that that was amazing, and I wanted to share it with everyone. So that's why we invited them. And so they're the first TV channel that we have invited. We've had Hexton here as a repainter, but not as just a TV show kind of.
Right.
So thank you for joining us today.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah. So we're going to start with our question, and that is, please tell us about your doll journey, where it began, and how it led to you being here with us today.
Lyahs TV was created in June 2020, during the pandemic, during lockdown. Like everybody else, we were spending a lot more time at home. We had the kids at home, they weren't going to school, so we were seeing a lot more of how they were playing and what they were playing with and how they were communicating with the toys that they had. And we realized that our daughter was starting to ask really, provoking questions. She was 3 at the time, and she was asking questions like, why is her hair not blonde like the dolls that she sees on YouTube? And why doesn't she look a bit like them? And it seemed a bit odd at first that she's 3 and she's asking these kind of questions. And then we realized that a lot of the things that she was seeing on YouTube didn't reflect what she looked like or what her sisters looked like or her cousins. So we searched online for kind of black doll shows. Hardly anything there.
No.
Hardly anything. So there wasn't even a choice of just changing the channel for her or just putting on an alternative. It was a case of do something about it or just let her keep watching this. So we went with the former, and we created with no previous experience at all. We just went ahead and bought some dolls off Amazon, and then here they are. We created our own mini version of ourselves, really. And at first it was just something fun for her to get involved in. She had a lot more extra time on her hands, and we did as well. So she does the voice of one of the characters called EE, and we do the voice of the parents. And she loved it, and her sisters got involved as well, and her cousins. And after we did the first one, it became a bit addictive. And we just kept going. So about a year later, and here we are, we've got about 28 videos now on YouTube. And yeah, the whole point of Lyahs TV is not just to have, black dolls on YouTube, but it's what else can we add that isn't already there. So we have like an educational element where we add some black history in every now and then in a few videos. But it's all meant to be fun. It's meant to be simple enough for children to understand, but also fun and educational, so that it caters to everybody. It's not just for ethnic minorities, it's for any child who wants to play with dolls, who wants to see dolls. And that the point is just for it to become normal, for there to be brown dolls on YouTube or on TV. It really shouldn't be a thing in 2021, is how we see it.
And I think that what you're saying is important, and we're seeing this all over the doll world. People are creating dolls for the same reason that you just said. Taufik Okoye, his story is exactly your story. His daughter was about the same age as yours when she said to him, "What color am I?" And he said, "I realized my daughter was having some kind of a identity crisis." you know, and it's same age, 3 years old.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So there's some, you know, I don't know from the, I don't know the educational standpoint of what happens to us at 3, but there's something developmentally that's happening to us at 3 that is critical. And because that's when we're asking these questions.
Mm-hmm. Probably making you more aware. You're probably coming to more awareness of your surroundings and why people look different, as opposed to when you were younger, you didn't really look at that aspect, you know, of that. What I wanted to ask you though was that did you have dolls in your home before you started this? Were your children playing with dolls at any point? Or did you play with dolls when you were growing up? And if you did, were they black dolls?
You had those.
They had dolls. Well, yeah, not really, did they? They had maybe 1 or 2.
Mhm.
They had mainly babies, you know, baby dolls.
Yes.
Baby
rather
dolls,
than
right.
dolls like this.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yes.
And
were
we'd
they black
always try to
babies?
make. Sorry.
Were they black babies? Black baby
We
dolls? Or were they
made sure
just
that we
baby
had
dolls?
both.
Okay.
Yeah, we had both.
Okay.
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 Yeah, but they never had like Barbie dolls.
Mhm.
Come
Right.
to
Well, they're
think of
probably a
it,
little
yeah.
young. Yeah. By that.
Yeah, my kids
Probably
didn't
a
have
little
them at 3 either.
young. Yeah. That's
Yeah.
true. That's true.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So you say your daughter voices. It seems like the whole family voices the show,
Yeah.
which I really love. I think it's the cutest thing ever. But what I do also love about it is that you do talk about certain things like bullying, you know, certain subjects that you do approach in that type of environment of creating a family and not just a family of dolls, but a family. And that's what I really like about it. Why did you decide to tackle those things because of those are questions that your daughter asked you, or you just thought that that would be something that would be important to tackle, you know, because you had an audience now, you had a voice to showcase those things.
Although it was created just for the fun and for the kids to enjoy, but at some point we thought we also want to educate them as they are playing with it and the audience, because it could be someone out there who's watching, so a little bit of the education, it's doesn't hurt.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So did you did you find yourself, Eric, playing with more dolls when you started this?
I am not playing with the dolls, but I'm aware that I think we have now dolls in every corner of the house. Literally, there are dolls everywhere, and doors, dolls, accessories, toys. Literally, I can, like now, I can do this, and I have a doll toy here, literally everywhere. So it's, for me, it's a love and hate, because
Yes, I understand that. I
you
understand
stumble on
that.
things, you're like, ah,
Yeah.
but and then it is as if it's never enough. They always want more. They want
No,
to
no
add
more.
things. They want to add this, and I'm like, oh my days, what did we start?
That's
But
funny.
seeing how they play with it and the joy they get out of it,
Mhm.
and also you can just see how they are now more confident about how they look. So especially my 4-year-old, she loves her hair
Wow.
now. She's more confident how she was, because before her hair was always like, I want to have my hair flat and yellow, and now it's all okay. It's all, yeah.
That's wonderful. That gives her an
Yeah.
opportunity, yeah, to just love who she is, and that's great.
Yes.
I think that's really cool.
So what your husband is talking about is really cool. It's interesting to see how in just over a year, your daughter went from there's something wrong with the way I look to I'm self-confident, and I applaud you for that. I think that's great, and I'm excited that Lyahs TV is on YouTube so that other children can find her show and learn that they're perfectly beautiful exactly as they are. And also, like you said, it's for everyone. So you can come there and you can see like their interactions with their auntie. And
Yeah.
I remember they were making pancakes and bringing breakfast to bed, and there's just all these wonderful stories. And so now you're doing things for Black History Month, and Black History Month in your country is in October. Why don't you tell us some of why you're choosing to talk about Black history?
Because one of the things we talked about was that if you don't know where you're coming from, it's hard to kind of know where you're going or why things are the way they are. And it's not really represented. Like when we talk about Black history in the education system in the UK, for example, you don't hear about the type of things that we talk about, you know, the positive Black history. If it's not the slavery part of it, then it's not Black history. So we thought we'd do our twist on it, our version, and just make it as positive as it can be. And just, you know, kids should be learning these things, but they don't. And yeah, and we try to make it as fun facts. So we build it into conversations rather than making a big deal out of it, because it shouldn't be a big deal. It should be things that kids just know as part of their life experience and part of their education, if that makes sense. So yeah, it's just something that we thought, well, because our daughters are going to be involved in it, when they are, you know, performing or doing the voiceovers, they are saying these facts over and over again. They're learning just by taking part. So it's not even like we're teaching them, we're sitting them down and, you know, reading a book to them, but they are actively learning. So it wasn't just for teaching others, but for teaching our own as well, but doing it in a fun way, which is kind of how we want Lyahs TV to be known as, just like a fun show where you've got a little bit of everything. Yeah.
That's really interesting. Again, it's funny to speak to people from different countries, because you're saying what your children are being taught is slavery. Our children are not being taught slavery, to the point where there have been movements in some states, like I know Texas is notorious for wanting to recreate history,
taking the history out of the books.
Say that, like, we took the boat over, like, you know, we bought a ticket and decided to just jump up on the boat and arrive at, you know, Ellis Island, and just like that's how we got there. Not like 10 million of us were stolen from Africa, brought over here in chains, and held as slaves for hundreds of years. And I know your history is very much like ours, because we're the same people, same boat, same, you know, same kind of situation, you know. So it's interesting, again, that Britain is teaching that and America is like, no. And there's actively a move right now. I can't remember what it's called, but they're saying they don't want, like, white children to be taught that they're bad people. And it's not about being bad people. It's about, this is the history, this is how we got here, and this is where we are today. And where we are today has a lot to do with where we were yesterday. And it's like you're saying, you have to know your history to know who you are and to move forward. So I think that's interesting how the different countries are deciding to manage that part of our collective history.
And I think it's also important too that you were saying that, because your children do read the scripts and they do have to say what's on the paper, they have to understand what they're saying. It definitely becomes a sense of knowing who you are more, as opposed to just reading about who you are, because they do have to tell these stories. And the fact that they share them as little kids too, I think understanding that story, I think it's just as powerful for them as well as for the people who are watching it. I want you to share and tell us who the characters are in there, and who plays what. Great.
Okay, so this is Mummy Tiana, my mini. And
that's Daddy Naveen.
And we basically named them Tiana and Naveen because that's what the black dolls from Disney's Princess and the Frog?
Yeah, Princess and the Frog, yeah.
the couple is called Tiana and Naveen, and they are the only kind of Disney Black couples that were there. So that's them, and they're husband and wife, just like us.
So cute.
And then they've got 3 children who are triplets. So there's EE, who basically kicked off this whole show. She's the one who asked all the questions. JJ and Mimi.
So cute.
They are.
And they're triplets. And the funny thing is, when we started the show, we only had an EE and a Mimi. And now in real life, we've also got a boy. So,
Oh.
so we are actually the Lyah family now in real life.
That's so cute. I love it.
Yeah.
That's so great.
That is. Congratulations.
Yeah, congratulations.
Thank
That's
you.
great. That's funny.
So yeah, they are the basics of the show, and then we've got other characters that we've brought in, more kind of black dolls. We've collaborated with a few black doll makers who have given us their dolls to participate in Lyahs TV. So they've been different characters within the show. So that's been good as well. Because it's not just about showcasing Barbie, but you know, there's a lot. We've come quite far now with our own dolls, people who are working hard to create versions of us that, you know, so why not help in showing that off? Because they're really good, very talented. And even like we've tried to really try and promote people like black owned companies within Lyahs TV. So for example, the little dolls, the little bags that they're wearing, school bags, was by a lady who absolutely loves the show, and her daughters love the show, and she was like, I would love to be able to make little miniature stuff for the family if possible. So we said, why not?
Nice.
So yeah, we're just trying to make our networks here and there as much as we can.
Yeah, we totally get that. Yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
It's important.
That really is. So I know you talk about, I know Tammy answered the question about Black History Month. So are you doing anything else? Are you going outside talking to other people? Are you sharing what it is that your TV show is about and doing outreach? And if so, where do you go to do that? And how is that working for you?
Yeah, so I mean, our outreach has been kind of throughout the year. So Black History Month hasn't really stopped with us. It doesn't start and end in October. It's kind of been throughout, because there's so much content in there that we want to share whenever people come in contact with Lyahs TV, and that could be throughout the year. So because it's a kids show, and it's pretty much made by kids for kids, we've really tried to target the schools that the kids go to, and schools in our local community, and just explaining to them what we're doing, why we're doing it. And we've had quite positive feedback, actually. We've had schools that have played the videos, for example, during their lessons, and they've used it in Black History Month, especially last year. So yeah, that kind of feedback has been really positive. We've also spoken to a few local newspapers and just try to explain what we've done, just to let the community know as well. And like I said, it's been received quite well. Obviously, we've got social media and stuff where we promote the things that we're doing, but outside of that, the wider world, they have reacted quite well. I mean, obviously, it's quite tricky with 2020 and lockdown, and you know, things are still just easing up, but we've spoken to some schools who have said that, you know, they'd love to have like assemblies and that kind of thing, where we can come in and talk about the dolls and why we've started it, and how the people who do the voices, the children, how they feel about it and that kind of thing. But yeah, that hasn't been possible at the moment because of pandemic, but you know, it's out there.
That's good. That's really positive.
Yeah.
And it's funny how just a simple seed blossoms into this beautiful thing. And there have been so many blessings. COVID has been horrific, but there's also been so many blessings during this time. And like you said, it gave you time to think about what's going on, to spend more time with your children, and, you know, for your baby to come to you and start asking you questions, and you're at home at the perfect time to do this. And then it, you know, becomes a blessing to us all, because we can watch it and have these discussions with our children about whatever they see there. And it's another educational form for our kids to be able to see. I don't think we can have enough of those. There's always room for another one, more educational things.
Yeah. It's
And
a
I think
really, really good
what
show.
you've just said about our daughter asking us these questions at the right time when we were at home, it's it's actually really important, because if you don't answer, then somebody else out there will answer.
Yes.
And it's just great that it's coming from the home. These discussions are being had in the family home, rather than, you know, because if you don't teach them, the world will teach them, and we don't know what the world is going to teach them. So whilst we still have their ears, why not do something positive about it?
Why they still want to hear from you is
exactly.
Before they know everything.
Exactly.
That is true. That is true.
It's beautiful.
But, I love your show. I think it's just great. It's a breath of fresh air. You know, it really is. It really is a great positive outlook, and great questions and great conversations that they have, and the great people that you bring in, like your, you know, the auntie and all the other people. It really does showcase a thing about, you know, it takes a village, you know, and so I think that's what's really so great about it. So I'm glad that you had that. I'm glad your daughter did ask you those questions, so that you can,
I am too.
you know, so you can build upon this. And I think it's really going to lead to some really more amazing things for you and your family, and the opportunity to just share that message with other people. And I'm so glad that your children are involved and that they voice the show. It's great. It's beautiful.
That's what I was going to say.
Combination.
I like that too. The energy, just the excitement and the giggles, and it's just so precious.
Yeah.
So precious. I love it. And what is your daughter?
Yeah, they love that.
Oh, okay. What are they saying about, you know, about being part of this? And do they, I mean, because I see that you, and I respect and honor and am excited that you do not share their faces, because I think that they need to be able to be children. They don't need to be celebrities, or they need to, you know, I respect, and I think that's really cool that you're protecting them that way. But what are they, how do they feel, and what are they saying? Do their classmates know? They're 4. So 4, is she going to preschool, or is she in school at all yet?
She's in school now. Yeah, she's in school full time now.
So do her classmates know that this is what she does? Okay.
Yeah, they do, and she's got like her best friend who takes part in some of the episodes as well. So she loves it. She tells everybody who whether they want to listen or not. She's telling them that she's doing this. It's on YouTube. Go find it.
That's
your best marketing tool. Guess what?
I know that's right.
I
know that's right.
She really is.
That's wonderful, though. That's wonderful. So who does editing, and so what are your roles in the creation of the show?
So I do the filming and the editing.
Okay.
And the script, and I kind of bug them for a couple of days a week. I'm like, come on, let's do this to get it all sorted. But yeah, everybody does the voices. I do the filming, and then Eric will help with the editing and putting it all together. He's good with the IT stuff, so he showed me how to do all the editing and the fancy stuff, because I had no idea how to do any of that before. But yeah, it's all teamwork.
Stuff, huh? I'm gonna have to tap into you, Eric, because I do editing too, and I don't do fancy stuff, but I might need to know how to do some of that.
So
yeah, he's the guy to go to.
That brings up another subject. What do you do what are you as professions? What's your career?
So I'm a social worker.
Okay.
And
I'm a telecom engineer.
Okay.
In
Very
your
cool.
social work, do you work with younger children or you work with adults in social
Adults.
working?
Adults.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm sitting here just smiling. I'm just so
Me
excited.
too.
to
It's so
meet you,
crazy. I know.
because this is this interview's been a long time coming, and it's just been so, I mean, I've been excited to meet you, because we started talking about it before the baby, you know, and then the baby was coming. So I said, okay, let's let you have the baby and let things calm down, and then we'll get back together. So yeah, I mean, I'm just excited to see you and to put your faces with the dolls and to hear your story. It's
Yeah.
just, yeah, beautiful, just so beautiful. And I'm so happy I stumbled upon you. Just so happy. Yeah.
She's fangirling right now. Just
Yeah,
so
I
you know.
am. I'm fangirling. I'm the biggest fangirl. We really get to meet some just amazing people,
Yeah.
you know, and your stories are all so heartfelt. And I think, and maybe it's because we live in this capitalist society, so much of what we do is about money, you know, how we make another dollar. It's so wonderful to hear somebody say, I did this for my baby. My baby needed to know she was okay. She needed to figure out a way to appreciate who she was. And so in our quest to help her do that, we did this. And now there's all these babies who are benefiting from your baby asking those questions. And that to me is so cool. That, yeah, I mean, the doll world is just so cool. I love to see how people are using it for so many different things. And you're using it for education and for therapy and for empowerment and self-improvement. It's just, you guys are exciting to me. I mean, and I think that that's probably something really interesting for people, you know, because we interview everybody. So we interview the history making doll people, and I am as excited to meet you as I am to meet the history making doll people. What you're doing is incredible. You are just as much,
because it is history making, though.
Yeah, and
it is very history making.
Yeah, and you're just as much as celebrities as those people who are making those dolls. All of you are doing exciting things. You're,
because we get to see that. We get to see the other side of that nobody sees, you know, the work, you know, and the passion and the desire to start something, you know, that's going to make an impact. And I think that's what you guys have done. And when I say historical, and the fact of not just it being the first or maybe one of a tiny fraction of, you know, Black doll shows that are run by families, which is probably just yours, but history making in the sense that you're creating this history for your children, and you're creating this as something, as a foundation to help them to move forward. Whether the doll show continues or not, it's not so much about that. It's about what you've already given them to establish, you know, and bring confidence to who they are. And that creates a whole nother history making of how they feel about themselves, you know, and to share that with other people.
It becomes generational. Yeah. So this show, like Georgia said, if you were to stop it today, and it, you know, what you've done for your baby, you've done for your grandbaby. Because your daughter now feels differently about herself. And with her feeling differently about herself, her children will feel differently about themselves, because she will be a different mother, because she will be empowered, and she will feel strong, and she is beautiful, and she's all these wonderful things because her parents took out time to say, wait, we have to stop. Yeah, we have to stop, and we have to address this now. And so she is a different person today than she was before you started the show. Thank you for blessing her. And it's not just your kid, every kid.
But you know, the thing too, it empowers you too. It empowers you as parents to have those conversations and look at your conversations that you have with your kids differently. You know, it's not that it's not play, or, you know, that they're still young, but you still incorporate a lot of things that can help them to move forward in their lives, you know, and from a different perspective, because you guys are in this journey now. You know, and you get to be those spokespeople, as much as you don't think, like you said, that you didn't think that far ahead, but now that's who you are now. You know, and it's all good. I think it's great. I think it's great. So thank you for bringing them to us.
Around the world, people are seeing your.
They're looking at each other like,
Yeah.
You
I mean,
okay?
it's really important. Yeah. I think what you're doing is really important. One of the people that we interviewed is Amma Gay. I'm sorry, Amma's name is it's spelled closer to Guy, but it's Gay like Marvin Gaye. And she is in Britain. She was born in Ghana and married a man from Senegal. And Amma gives Black dolls away to children in Britain, Senegal, and Ghana.
Mm.
And there are children who will not accept dolls from her because these Black dolls are ugly and they're Barbie dolls for the most part. We can say a lot of things about Barbie. I don't think Barbie dolls are ugly. And I think most people don't think that they're ugly. And a lot of these children will not accept these Black dolls. So how does Lyahs TV fit into that? They help to show the world that they're beautiful. You know, so we have all these people around the world who are working the same message. We're all doing it from our own vantage points. We all around the world are seeing there are not enough dolls of color.
Yeah.
So thank you.
No, that is actually one of the things that we spoke about in one of the interviews we did for a local paper, that the show is for everybody. I mean, it did initially start because of we want to promote more Black dolls, because there isn't enough of diversity, not just in terms of Black people, but everyone.
Yes.
Anyone that you'd consider diverse in the doll world, it's really lacking. So where we can, we do try to incorporate as many different types of dolls as possible.
That's great. Where do you see yourself this time next year? What do you see yourself doing?
I think we're still brainstorming. I mean,
Okay.
you came up with a really good idea the other day about animation, maybe like bringing Lyahs TV into the animation world. So we don't know. You know, maybe the little one would have new ideas as to where we can take the show. I think because it didn't start off as a business, we've never really carried it as a business.
Yes. I totally relate to that.
Yeah,
I feel like
in the doll world.
I feel that way about the podcast. It didn't start off as that. It just was like, oh, this would be great to do that, you know, and show people, all the other people that's in the community, you know, what it takes to make a doll or meet new doll makers or whatever it is. And it didn't, so it just thought, yeah, that's how it started. So we never thought, oh, now we got to like make a business around this. Like that's a little different thinking, you know. So we understand that you're probably in that space now.
Yeah.
How is Lyahs TV impacting your lives?
I think we've become a lot more aware as well of how the language we use when we speak to the kids, and the things we buy for them, especially. So like we've really been trying to buy more books, for example, that have Black characters in it, or you know, a main character at least. So it's made us check ourselves a bit more in what we do. So like you said before, like what kind of dolls do they used to have? Whereas now going forwards, we just always buy Black dolls now. Whereas before, if we have a non-black Barbie doll, it's because it's going to be a character in Lyahs TV, for example, not just for the sake of them playing with it. So yeah, and just we've become more aware of what the world probably looks like from their eyes, and we've been trying to kind of improve it, I guess, in that sense. So just becoming more aware of her surroundings, of where we put her. So for example, when we put her in a school, we do look around more like, is she going to be the only one? Is she, you know, just questioning ourselves a lot more, because at the end of the day, whatever she experiences, especially at that age, it's going to be our decision. It's going to be based on what we decide to do. So that's the big responsibility. And like you said, it's going to impact on how she grows up and how she sees herself. So it's our responsibility to make sure that she's at least got a good chance to not just she, all of them have a good chance to grow in a world where, you know, being Black isn't a bad thing, as some people may want you to believe. So yeah, whereas before we were aware of it, and obviously we knew about it, but I guess as parents we didn't really focus on it as much. So yeah, that it's made us more self-aware.
What you said right then was so powerful, because you said it gives you a chance to look at the world from their eyes. And as parents, I think you're always, as a parent, you're always looking at the world from your eyes and what you see, but never from your children's eyes. And I think this is a great opportunity for you to really, really just embrace that part of that journey.
Because it was through her eyes that she realized that there's no dolls that look like her. You know, we never even considered it at the time. We just put on YouTube and she would choose what she wants to watch. And she would go to these doll shows that she's been watching for ages. And we never really thought twice about it, to be honest. But it was through her little eyes that she started questioning, well, why don't they look like me?
Wow.
So that we've just been trying to continue with that approach with everything else that we do with her.
Yeah, it is powerful in giving her a voice, not only as someone who is a person of color or a child. I mean, yeah, it comes from, she's a child whose opinion counts.
Yes.
She will be a young woman whose opinion counts.
All of them.
You're helping her
it's going to affect all of them.
Yeah, define her voice and define herself as a person who has value. And all of that comes through, you know, those first years of our lives. Yes. And so and I know you said that before, and I think that as parents, we're so busy responding, the baby cries, the baby needs diaper change, the baby cries, the baby needs to be fed, the baby cries. But the baby cries all the time for different things. And sometimes the baby is crying for, help me validate myself. And you responded.
Exactly.
Yeah. That's so powerful.
Exactly.
Love it.
And that's what the pandemic gave us time to do.
Yeah.
Respond to that cry that, you know, help me validate myself. Because if it happened any other time, I think we would have been so busy with work that.
Yeah, I think what I also realize is that kids, they don't really listen to you. They follow what you do. They look at what you do. Because I remember I've always tell her how beautiful she is. I love her hair. I tell her that on a daily basis. But for her to still come to me and be like, I don't like my hair. I want this. I'm like, your hair is beautiful. Yeah, but. And then when we started doing this, now she herself loves her hair. So for me, that was a really big self-awareness. It's like, it's not what I'm telling her, but it's what she's seeing that we're doing. That's what she's going to follow and learn from it. Yes. And that's why also I think from that point on, I've always been, but always encourage my wife and support her if she wants to change her career to achieve better and better. I'm like, it's fine. We're gonna manage. Just try for it, because I know the girls, they're gonna look at her, what she has achieved, and then that also will give them inspiration. Like, oh, I can also achieve that. I can also do that because my mommy went from this, that to that to that to that. So it is possible for me as well. So they don't really listen, these kids, but they pay really good attention.
That they do.
Yes, they do.
That they do. And you're one step ahead of the game, because you learned that at an early age. She's at an early age. You've learned that now, you know, that is so true. It's never like what you say, it's always what you do, right? Or or like you said, what is being shown, because again, that comes in with representation. You could say that she's beautiful all day long, but until she sees other things outside, that, you know, that she can say, oh, well, they do think I'm beautiful. You know, that's the way, unfortunately, that's the way a lot of us do operate, especially children. So yeah, but it's still important to say, regardless, you know, but good that you see that and you're aware of that. And the fact that you said that about being able to support your wife if she wants to transition to things, then allows your daughters to look at her and say, wow, well, my mom did that. I really respect that. And I really appreciate you saying that and sharing that with us, Erick. That was really powerful. Thank you.
Yeah, just beautiful family.
Yeah. I know, almost brought me to tears for a minute there. Okay, so
Yeah, this is one of those shows. It
really, because I mean, it's, you want to have your partner and or the person that you care about understand too that you have to grow, and because of that growth, your children benefit, and your relationship, and benefits as well. So yeah, so I'm just telling you, we just love y'all. So
fangirl show.
This is actually the first show we've done, isn't it? The first interview where our faces are.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So it's a bit odd for us as well. It's a good start.
You walked into a room of love, just you're being embraced and loved and appreciated.
Definitely.
You guys are just as important as everybody else we've interviewed. You and in some ways more important, because you're impacting how children feel about themselves. It's one thing to make a pretty doll, and we have lots of beautiful dolls. It's another thing to impact children and how they see themselves. And so when you look at this beautiful fashion doll as a kid, your response to her, I don't think is the same as if you see something like your show, the little dolls that look more like them. You have EE's little voice, or the triplets' little voice, and they're giggling, and it's different for them. I think it feels more real, Yeah. So one of the things that you spoke about was supporting Black-owned businesses, and how like one of the businesses made the backpacks for your dolls. Why don't you tell us some more about what you're doing in that space?
So we've tried to become a bit more active in supporting Black-owned businesses, both personally and just with Lyahs TV. So with regards to Lyahs TV, we've worked with a few doll companies. Like I said before, they feature in the videos in certain episodes. So one of the videos has a doll from Bianca and Friends, and
what kind of doll? Are these people who are repainting, or they are actually making dolls from scratch?
So they're actually making dolls. From scratch. And again, the dolls, they just reflect the diversity amongst Black people. It's not this, we don't all look the same. So the Bianca doll has, a huge afro and, really curly hair, and just looks great. I remember when the kids first saw it for the first time, and their faces just like, oh my gosh, like this doll exists. It was amazing. So, and the lady that we've been working with quite recently, she's called Cassie, and she's got her own kind of Etsy store where she creates things for dolls. And she's big on Black dolls as well, and she's got her site, Mimi's Dolls World, and she's so talented. But it's working with them in a way that, every little helps, because the people that she knows and she can kind of open the doors to Lyahs TV to, it's just incredible what you can do by just networking. And just seeing that people, that you're not alone. I think you're not alone, and there's people out there who love dolls just as much as you do. I mean, she's an absolute fanatic for dolls, and it's brilliant, and it's also inspiring, because when you're not on your own, that there's other people out there doing similar things, or who want you to do well as well, because they believe in what you're doing so much that they're investing their time to make you like really cute backpacks and stuff. It's nice. It's really good to see that there's a lot of time and investment and relationships being built in the Black-owned businesses, especially in the doll world. So yeah, it's opened our eyes up a lot to what's out there and what people are doing. Even you guys, like, we had no idea you existed. and look at us now. So it's just incredible.
Yes.
Right. Yeah.
That's
Well, we're
great.
definitely excited to have you be featured on In the Doll World with us.
Definitely.
I wanted to just ask another question. How much time do you put into creating that show? Because, a lot of people think, oh, I'm just going to go do this. I want to go do that. And they realize how it really starts to impact their time and the time that they invest in doing that. So what is your day like? Or, during the week, how much time do you really do work on that show?
Go on, you laughed.
Nobody wants to answer. It's like, it's a lot of work. No?
A lot. It's a lot.
I think first is the filming, which it takes a lot of time. I think most of the time you do it on your own, and then
It can take about a day just to
Oh, wow.
film, because they're so tiny and fiddly, like getting them to move around, and like there's a whole family to move around at the same time. So and then the editing can take a couple of days.
Mhm.
So, and then the voiceovers, it can take about a week to do one
okay.
video.
All right, a
Wow.
week. Wow. Yeah.
That's in between raising the
Working
kids
and
and
working.
working full time. So yeah, it does take a lot of time. There's a lot
Yeah.
of late nights that's involved actually that people don't see. So
Mhm.
I think people have the idea that, it's just dolls, like it
Right.
doesn't take that long.
Well, that's
But
kind of what they think when you got to
does.
make a doll. It's just a doll.
Exactly.
Yeah, but
Exactly.
okay, it's not like
Can't
that.
take that long. Can't cost that much.
Yeah, it can't cost that much.
Exactly.
But I asked that question because we did have somebody else on the show who has Aiden Price, right? So they have like a little comic strip that they started when they were in the pandemic. And again, they did not expect the comic strip. It was something that they did on an everyday basis, being a couple. So it was, it was really cute. But then they realized while they were in the pandemic, it was great. Right. And they could do something every day or every 2 days. And then all of a sudden now they're back at work and they realize, wow, we can't produce it the way we used to, because they were so overwhelmed with the response that they got of how people enjoyed the show. Then it was like, oh my gosh, now we got to do this every day, and we don't have the time to do that. So I was just curious on how much time, since you were in a pandemic, and you were able, I guess, to start creating that. How much time did you really spend doing that? Because it's a lot of work. And
Yeah, it was very similar actually. During the pandemic, I think we were releasing videos every week. Every weekend we had a video out, and then things started to open up. We went back to work, and it became once every 2 weeks, once every 3 weeks, once a month.
That makes sense.
Yeah, because it just takes so much time.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's when you start to move into those goals and the vision, and what is this going to look like from now on, because now your time has changed, so you have to change with that and figure out how does that now impact your show. So
yeah, exactly.
That's great. So this has been just a great interview. It's been wonderful to meet you. It's a long-awaited interview. It's exciting and encouraging and empowering. And we just want to thank you for joining us. Thank you for joining us on In the Doll World. And yeah, we look forward to speaking with you again, because we're excited to see what your future holds. There's just so many wonderful things that Lyahs TV can do and can lead to. So thank you for joining us.
No, thank you for having us.
Thank you very much.
We're so glad we made it happen after all this time.
Thank you.
Let them know where you can find your show at.
We are on YouTube, is where you can find our videos, but we also have an Instagram at Lyahs TV, and a Facebook as well, which is also just Lyahs TV. I think you could just search for us on Facebook and Lyahs TV, but we are actively on Instagram and YouTube.
Okay, and it's Lyah, Lyahs.
Lyahs, yeah.
Okay, Lyahs TV. Okay.
Great. Thank you guys.
Thank you so very much. Yeah, it's been
wonderful meeting you.
You're very welcome.
All right, take care.
Thanks.
All right.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.